Welcome back, golfers. Today I'm at Dairy Creek Golf Course and we're going to talk about how to fix the chipping yips. So stay tuned. So the chipping yips, you might have them in your game. Today we're going to talk about why the yips might be in your game and how to fix them. I'm going to give you a couple drills to make it easier. So the chipping yips, a lot of people talk about the yips in the golf swing or the yips in chipping, and they talk about it as if it's a mental condition. And it does come from a mental side of it, but it's your brain that's telling you that your club is too far from the inside, and if you continue on that path, it's going to be open. Meaning, if you take the club back in here, and if you continue on that path, that face is wide open. So the chipping yips isn't necessarily a mental condition. It's more of a mechanical issue that your brain's trying to correct. And the way that the brain corrects the yips is when you're stuck inside, the body goes, well, how do I get the club to get squared up? So what the body does to fix it is it slows down your lower body rotation in order for the hands to speed up the release of the club. And that's when we feel that motion right there, where it's just a real handsy, yippy feeling through the golf ball, and it leads to that lead edge closing down really quick. You tend to hit it thin or heavy very easily because your weight shift stays back on your right side. So let's talk about how to fix that. So in order to fix it, the first thing we want to do is grab a ball and train our body to get to our lead side. And the easiest way to do that is just grab a ball and just toss it up on the green. And feel what the body is doing when that is happening. Because when I'm tossing, you can see the body's opening up. The hands stay in front, and it opens up. A lot of golfers who have what we call the yip issue, they'll get it stuck inside and then they'll do that. And you can see the lower body's not doing anything. Whereas I want you to go there. Because if you're not, and you go back in here and you get that yip feeling, you can see all my weight's on my right side. Whereas if you do it correctly, all the weight's on your left side or your lead side. And that's where we want it when we're chipping. We want to make sure our weight is shifting towards the target and not backwards. So point number 2 I want to make about this is an easy way to fix the club from the inside is just to think about where the club head is and where your hands are. And we're going to do a drill here pretty quick just to show you an easy, simple way to do this. But when you take the club back, what we want to see is until that club is behind your hands, which I call loading the club. Before you load the club, I don't want to see that club below parallel to the ground. So a lot of the golfers out there that have problems with yips, you'll see them load the club behind their hands at this point. So when they actually get the club to parallel to the ground, it would be behind you. So keep the club head out in front of the hands. So as you take it back, it's out in front until you get to parallel to the ground. It's kind of right down your target line. At that point, it frees you up to just move through the golf ball. And that's what we want to be able to do. We want to have that freedom of motion to just be able to move towards our target and open our body just like that toss in front of us. So hopefully by now all of you have gone out and purchased some alignment sticks. Super important part of training your swing and your body and chipping and a whole bunch of stuff. Go check out my video on how to use an alignment stick. So what we're going to do is put one just on the inside of the ball, and then what we're going to do is walk back to where you would be hitting a golf shot right behind the stick. You can see the stick there. And then we're going to take this one, we're going to shove that alignment stick into the ground. So what that's going to do is create a plane for our swing. So when we're chipping, we don't want to be inside that plane. We don't want to be way out in front of that plane. We want to be pretty much going back along that plane. So if I go to the inside, which is typically what, if you're having troubles with yips, is happening, you're going to hit the stick. So if you're doing it properly, you'll take it back, miss the stick, and your path will be right down the target, and now you can open up your hips and move to the target just like that toss. So let's do that again. You guys can watch it again. And if you use this method for chipping and practicing your chipping, it's a very easy way to train yourself out of getting the club stuck inside, and then that'll allow your body just to continue to rotate. So my second method of fixing the yips, using the alignment stick again, and we're going to put it on the back side of that grip, and then you're going to take the longer part of that alignment stick that's sticking out, and you're going to put it up onto your lead hip. So from there we can go into our chipping position, and all we're going to try to do is just make sure that lead hip is touching that alignment stick on the backswing. So let it come back and feel that touch on that backswing. If it goes a little bit off, that's okay. What we don't want to feel is it sticking too much or pulling way out in front of us in that direction. So you can really have a good visual when you stick it up against the stick. So when we come into it, we're just going to try to keep that feeling up against that lead edge, back, through, and that'll keep you from flipping as well. So if you're not moving, that stick, you're going to feel it. If you're doing it properly and doing that toss motion, that stick might just be nice and light off that lead side. You know, that's a great method to help train that chipping yips out of your golf swing. Golfers, my last piece of advice is something you can do at home. You don't even need a club in your hands really to do this. And it's just teaching your body to just move properly. So what we're going to do is just let our hands kind of fall, small stance, and we're just going to move our hip open and try to get our trail knee to touch the lead one. And then while we're doing that, we're going to lift that trail heel off the ground and just kind of press towards the target. So we just want to press the hips out and just go there. And just practicing that over and over, allowing the body to open up and just back and forth, and all we're doing is letting the body just rotate through, and we're pushing that club not with our hands, we're not throwing it with our hands, but we're moving it with our core of our body and our hips. So I want you guys to look at this really quick. So watch my lead arm to the shoulders as I take it back. You can see that angle right there. So as you're coming through, once that club's set and you come through in this direction, that lead arm doesn't go across the body anymore. What it's going to do is we're just going to pivot our body and rotate through. And what that's going to allow to happen is that lead edge to go out to in front of you, which is going to allow you to use the bounce better. But we're not releasing across our body in this form. That's where we're going to feel that yippy move, and then we're not going to get the proper weight shift. So club goes back, we hold that angle, and then we shift through, because you can see when I'm in this position, it's the same angle as that I started with after that move into my backswing. So try that out, practice that at home a lot. Easy place to get your repetitions in, so when you go to the golf course, you won't have to stress over all this. This will take some time to train out the pattern of flipping and staying on your right side, but the more you get comfortable with allowing your body to open up and move through towards the knees are touching and your weight is off that back foot and onto the lead side, then you're going to do much better around the greens, and it'll make it so you can get up and down more often. Golfers, if you got anything out of this, hit that subscribe button down below. I put out videos once a week to help golfers get better at this game. If you have any questions on this subject, drop me a comment down below. And remember, if your feet aren't working, your swing's not working. I'll catch you guys next time.